Hi everybody, today we're going to be talking about Google Jamboard. Google Jamboard is a collaborative whiteboard based tool that you can use to work with your students, with other instructors, with really anyone that you're inviting. So you're going to either access Jamboard via the web-based tool, which is jamboard.google.com, or what you're seeing here on my screen is the app version of Jamboard. And both will prompt you to sign into your Google account. Make sure you're signing into your Fisher account. This will help everything kind of sync up seamlessly and really prevent any confusion later on. So I'm going to open my example jam that I've got here so you can kind of see what I've built. But basically, Jamboard is pretty similar to a lot of the other Google products. There's a lot of similar offerings, but there's some really unique things too. So within this screen, you'll see here, you've got a couple different things. So up in the top right here, and I'll use my assistive touch over here, is this little screen with an arrow on it. That would be if we had an actual Jamboard we were using. We typically aren't going to be using that, so you don't have to worry about that too much. Then next to it is the three dots that Google is usually pretty commonly associated with. And we'll talk a little bit more about this, but there's share, there's a copy link, there's a share jam as PDF, share as an image, etc., etc. So I'll talk about sharing in just a second, but just wanted you to see where that was. And then down in the bottom right, you see a little pencil icon. So you're going to click that to really open up any of your editing options or capabilities. So the first one here is just a drawing tool. It will allow you to create things like you can see where I wrote welcome. You can do that with the drawing tool. You can change the color. You can change like kind of the type of the pen or the thickness of the pen as well. And all of these should work with your Apple Pencil if you're using it. But if you have any issues with that, just let us know as well. The next thing is an eraser. So you can actually use the eraser on its own. You can see I just chopped part of my E off there. But you can also, if you hit it again, use it to clear the entire board or clear all the content from this frame. So if you're just playing around, getting used to Jamboard, and you draw on a whole bunch of stuff and you don't really need any of it, you could just simply do that. The next one here is a selector tool. So if you draw around something that you want to select, you can see that the delete option kind of pops up there, but you can also obviously make it bigger or smaller. You can also delete from there, but you can kind of adjust things and move them around. This guy here is like a pointer, and it will allow you to, you want to circle something to draw attention to it. It does, as you can see, it will disappear after you've, a certain amount of time. And then next here, you've got a plus. So this is where I think you get a lot of really cool options in terms of when you're collaborating. So the first one, the sticky note, you can see I've added the sticky notes on mine. So it says like, what is your favorite course to teach? How long have you been an instructor? What is your favorite thing about teaching? Those are all sticky notes that I created and then put on my board. Next one is images. So images will actually allow you to do a image search. So I'll go out and let's search for a sunflower. So it'll go out and search for sunflower images for you, which is pretty cool. Or any image for you based on what you're looking for. Then the next one is drive content. So if you had a element that you wanted to bring in from your drive, you could do that. Then you've got your camera, pretty self-explanatory. Image library will go and get anything from your actual drive that's an image. So different from the images search. The images search, remember, is just web. It'll do a search based on a keyword. And then the image library is anything that you own that you've got in your image library. Then the last one is stickers, which is kind of cool. So I could see, using some of these, like if you're doing a brainstorming type of piece and you want to think about, like different elements of a chart or a table, or even if you want to present something like this is how it's going to look, when you go to it on mobile or on a tablet. There's a bunch of different kind of options there as well. So, and the last thing I'll mention too is if you sorry, I did that kind of fast, but if you click up here where it says 1 of 2, and yours might just say 1 of 1, this is where your pages, kind of where you can see how many pages you have. So if you click up here and you click the arrow, if you have another page, it will take you there. It also might create a new page if you don't have a new page. But if I go back and then click where it says 1 of 1 or 1 of 2, and you can see now kind of an outline of what I've got there. And a couple of things. So you can obviously see where the plus signs are. You can add another board. And so it's nice because then you could say, oh, I really meant to put 1 before 1, and it'll add 1 there. Then, and also what's nice here is that whatever slide you select, you see you get those 3-dot menu options. If you click that, you can duplicate something. So for instance, if you're working with a class, maybe you've got kind of a master slide, and then you want the students to work on that slide, maybe answer some questions. You could create that first slide and then just duplicate however many copies you need. There's also a delete option, but there's also this background option. So you can see you get a couple options, not too much, but the nice part is there's a graph, there's line paper, and there's dotted lines too. So if you're doing something graph-based or where you really want the students to have writing lines to use, you could do that. And you can set it for individual ones. So I just have the graph paper turned on here. But if let's say I wanted to do something different here, I could make this one a line. And you can apply to all, so that'll just say, you know, this background should be on all of them if you just want to make it easy. So in terms of creation, that's kind of those are the main elements for Jamboard. And then once you're ready to share, what you can do is same as you would with any other Google product, you can click share. And here you can obviously add any people, or it says groups, you know, anyone within that you want to have access to it. But you can also do a copy link. So it'll copy your link to your clipboard. You just have to make sure when you do that, that link sharing, see, I just turned link sharing off. But if you want link sharing to be on, and you're going to copy that link, you have to make sure that the settings of who has access is turned on. So I'll go through that again. I walked through that a little quickly, but I would recommend always going to share first, whether you're going to share via link or via email addresses, and click on this little blue icon next to your either your picture or it'll be your initials, and you can see who has access. From here, you can also see the link. So you can say, okay, I want to make sure that it can go to only certain people, or I want to change who can have access to it, or excuse me, who can have editing access to it. So if you wanted to change it from anyone on the Fisher domain can view to anyone on the Fisher domain can edit, you would do that there. You can then also grab the link there if you want to. This is more like you're doing it for the first time and you want to copy that link. Once you know that the settings are turned on the way you want them and you're maybe just coming back in to grab a link quickly, you can just do copy link and you'll see it'll copy to your clipboard. The other two options here, share as PDF. So let's say you want to share this with someone, or you want to work with someone that maybe doesn't use Jamboard or is looking for more of a comprehensive look instead of getting kind of in the nitty-gritty. You could do that. You could then say you want to email it to them and it'll create an attachment for you, which is really helpful. And there's a couple, obviously a couple other share options. And then the other option is share this frame as an image. So it'll do the same thing for sharing options, and it will allow you to share the image. I think the important thing here is that it'll embed that image into the body of the email, which isn't always the best experience. So just keep that in mind. And other than that, the only other thing I would just recommend is that anytime you're done editing, just hit this green kind of check mark, takes you out of edit mode, and then you can go back to kind of your main Jamboard homepage. Should look pretty familiar from other Drive products that you have, and you should be all set to go. So take a look through, let us know if you have any questions.